And now for something exhausting, as we do a performance upgrade on, of all things, Betsy the non-turbo T4 Auto Sleeper Trophy. Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage is one of the last days that I'll be having the current exhaust system on Betsy the T4. So I've been doing a lot of driving with Betsy recently. I've clocked up nearly 3,000 miles I think in the last 6 weeks, and over that time I've become more and more aware of a couple of blows on the exhaust. Got to say though, the standard system has lasted rather well. It's a 1996 vehicle. Noise levels that the standard system generates windows up aren't too bad. I'm hearing more engine noise than I am exhaust noise as a rule. The engine is very much an old school diesel, but a really interesting one. It's the AAB, which for those of you not in the know, it's a very old Audi engine. It's a non-turbocharged straight 5 diesel. These things knock out a hefty 76 horsepower from 2.4 litres. The turbocharged straight 5 diesels are obviously a lot livelier, a lot quicker, have maybe a few more reliability issues related to head gaskets, but again, very sound engines. Much as I'm a complete garage dweller / petrol head, diesel in this particular case, I don't really want to turbocharge this engine because I don't really need to go any faster. I could use a little bit of extra performance. Where this engine lacks is it's got, if you're on a motorway and you're doing 65 miles an hour and you get a bit of a gradient in top gear, you're definitely going to have to drop it down to 4th. And if the gradient goes on for long enough, you'll have to drop it down to 3rd. And so you lose momentum quite easily. In the lower gears, at lower speeds, this engine will claw its way up a wall. There's not a problem in, it won't tackle hills or anything like that. It's not up to the job. That's not the case. It's just not got the power at the higher revs to maintain any speed where it's built up. So I would like a little bit of extra oomph. That lack of horsepower is also hindered slightly by the shape. We're a high top, and I've got a bigger set of tyres which have increased the rolling diameter only by a very small percentage. We've added about a centimetre onto the diameter, but that isn't sufficient to even make the speedo read under, but it all contributes to a very slightly higher gearing. And again, if you've not got an awful lot of extra power in reserve, that all eats into it. Combine all that with the fact that I do cover a lot of miles and we want to keep her for a little while, has helped me decide to invest in her. So she's booked in tomorrow with PPT of Louth here in Lincolnshire, and that is a local Volkswagen van performance specialist. Now, Don't get scared where I'm going to have a supercharger strapped on and flames painted down the side. It's not that sort of vehicle, and I'm not that sort of guy. PPT, as I say, specialise in Volkswagen vans, particularly the T4 and T5, but we'll take on most things VAG group, and they have a rolling road dyno, they do ECU remapping, and their specialism is they manufacture and sell exhaust systems, upgraded performance systems for Volkswagen vans. They also offer a bespoke service and will manufacture from scratch on your vehicle. And I've decided to go for a stainless steel, bigger bore, but properly silenced exhaust system for Betsy the T4. What that's going to do for me is, stainless steel is lovely, as long as you're not going to cut it or weld it yourself. It'll last. I'm not going to be worried about the exhaust for the life of this vehicle. It will be slightly louder exhaust note, no doubt, which I have no problem with, because, as I say, you tend to hear the engine more than you hear the exhaust on this vehicle, and I do like the sound of a straight 5. Bigger bore and mandrel bend curves mean that you're going to get a lot better flow with straight through boxes. All are going to release a little bit of extra horsepower, but are just going to make Betsy that little bit better, I hope, at maintaining her speed when she's revving. Now, Betsy's an unusual vehicle. She's a auto sleeper T4 trophy. They purchased short wheelbase panel vans and then converted them with a superstructure at the back and a really interesting fiberglass moulding into a long wheelbase body on a short wheelbase platform. What that means is, although PPT actually offer short wheelbase big bore stainless steel system in a couple of configurations in terms of noise levels and performance off the shelf, it won't fit on Betsy. So what I'm going in for is, I booked a session to have a bespoke system built on the van. So what I thought it might be quite interesting for you guys is if I can show you the old and the new, you can listen to the old and the new, and we can do a little bit of, I'm going to call it a performance test of the old and the new. But obviously this is no hot rod, and we may not see any measurable performance difference. Hopefully we can feel a little bit of the difference. So currently you're listening to the soundtrack being recorded on my Rode Micro wireless lavalier mic. So that is literally on my collar, and we're doing 60 miles an hour on a very slight uphill gradient in top gear. And this is the sound of 70 miles an hour, again on a flat smooth road, windows up. And next we'll do a little bit of window open, smooth, higher speed run. Again, just keeping the lavalier mic on my collar. So we're on the flat, window down, and top gear 60. So, have a little look underneath the van. So we're looking forward to the opposite front wheel, and there's a pipe comes down into a downpipe and then across towards us, and then close to the bottom of the driver's door we've got this elbow with one of the welded brackets that has actually come adrift. Down here over the top of the pipe that lets the water out of the freshwater tank. To the first of my known blows. You can see there's a significant hole there, and it's been welded up before. Another bracket, this time the rubber's come off. Let's repair. Silencer actually looks okay. Then weaves round underneath the vehicle to the back left where there's a really big silencer box. Okay, in a slightly unrealistic test, what I'm doing is I've clipped my lavalier mic to the rear bumper of Betsy, and this is obviously the original exhaust. And what we're going to do is just do a cold start up, so you can hear that, and then I'll cut the video and let her warm up for 10 minutes and just blip the throttle so you can hear the idling exhaust note, if you like. So, do you want to see the new exhaust system? Here we go. So, just to orientate you, there's the front wheel. Small resonator. Big silencer inside the heat shield. Quality clamps, proper rubber mountings, and then you can see that snakes off toward the other side. So here I am sat with the sports exhaust on, lapel mic again, so driver's head position, window up, stationary, and window down. Let's just do a little bit of village drive and then out onto some quick road. And the first instinct is that it's not any louder. The rasp that was below my seat has gone, and there might be a slightly more bass note in the background, but I'm pretty convinced if I hadn't told somebody what I'm doing and said there's the keys, they'd go, oh, you fixed the blow then? And I don't think they'd notice at this stage. I know that externally it's definitely different though. It may be completely psychological, but it does feel freer at this stage. Which it might be breathing so much better that it's spinning up easier, but equally could be just kidding myself. I'm going to drop the window a little. That's about how far I lowered it on our before pictures. Again, slack throttle, nothing worth even mentioning. Let's into this road and accelerate. And you can definitely hear the exhaust a little more than the engine for a change with the window open, which is nice. Well, it's certainly not intrusive. I go as far as to say as we go quicker, the noise reduces. But I have now got a distant background 5-cylinder thrum, which is nice. Wind the window back up. And I genuinely think you wouldn't be able to tell the difference which exhaust I've got on, despite the fact that, yeah, I've got a big bore system with less restrictions. Just building her up to a steady throttle, 60 miles an hour. Still accelerating. Okay. Into 60 miles an hour. We can agree that's similar. We'll do a side-by-side sound check just to see how they compare. But to my ears, I don't think there's any difference there. Let's wind the window down. Again, might sound entirely different on microphone, but it doesn't feel like it sounds any different. So, cruising speed, sound levels have not gone up. Okay, so unfortunately you didn't get to see the before of this, but this is going to be a 0 to 60 drive. Using a digital speedo just to make sure that I'm accurate again. And the previous the before change time, and you'll have to trust me on this, it doesn't sound very likely, is 67 seconds. Tall vehicle, heavy vehicle, older vehicle, plus slightly higher gearing than it should have because I've got oversized wheels. So here we go. This is the after test on the same piece of road, and we're going to see what we can do. 3, 2, 1, go. I'd love to say I'm changing gear at exactly the same revs. I can't tell you that. It sounds about the same. No rev counter in this vehicle. It does feel quicker, it's got to be said. We're just passing 50 at 30 odd seconds. .55 where she really starts to slow down. And stop. Well, even allowing for all manner of error, that's 56 seconds. So that's 10 plus seconds faster. I've got to conclude that even allowing for all sorts of error, she breathes more easily and is faster. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple of external sound recordings just to give you a sense of what it's like for the observer rather than the driver. These are going to be with the microphone on the camera, and what I'm going to do is just do a set off so you can hear what it sounds like when it's accelerating away, and then I'll do a drive past, and I'll do a drive past at about 55, and I'll cruise up and accelerate away. It's just so that we can get an idea of how she sounds to the outside observer. Gotta admit, that's a really nice sound, little gurgle. So, and finally, totally unrealistic but good fun, then we'll do a externally mounted camera and microphone clipped to the rear number plate so that we can just enjoy the sound of a straight 5 diesel burbling around the lanes. So, conclusions. I've got a big bore stainless steel exhaust system that will outlast the van. It sounds, to my ears, fantastic. Inside the cab is no noisier. Outside is noisier and sounds fabulous. It has freed up the breathing of the vehicle, and it's gone from 67 seconds to 56 seconds, 0 to 60, give or take a little bit, but certainly a significant improvement. I'm assuming that fuel economy can be improved now because it breathes a little bit better, and that it'll be able to maintain speed on motorway gradients just a little bit better, whereas previously I was constantly dropping down the box. That's to be seen. Overall, really impressed. The guys at PPT, I think, did an amazing job. They fitted the exhaust in under an hour, having prepped some of the stuff before I got there. The cost was very reasonable. Please check them out. If you're anywhere near Lincolnshire, they should be your go-to place. But you can order stuff off their internet if you've got a more standard vehicle than Betsy is. My system cost less than £400. So yeah, think on. I'm really happy with that. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more stuff on Betsy the T4, or you're interested in Jaguars, particularly the XK8, or just enjoy watching stuff that's related with tinkering in the garage, then please subscribe. Click the bell icon so that we can get notifications of when there's a new video out to you, and maybe check out the website. There's lots of great information. That's www.tothegarage.co.uk. Look out for the TTG logo. See you soon. Bye.